Fantastic. So like I said, we have a really jam-packed evening for you guys tonight, and I'm really conscious about starting on time. So I really do appreciate everyone who has joined on time as well. There will be multiple sessions during tonight, and I hope that you find this really enlightening, really encouraging, and it helps you to prepare yourself for your future career. Please do introduce yourself in the chat. Say hi to everyone. Let us know where you're from. So your name, your location, and let us know a little bit about what you're hoping to gain from tonight. Okay. So in terms of the agenda, we're going to have a brief welcome from myself. And then we're going to go over to our keynote, which will be from Nicole, who is a career consultant. She owns her own career consultant business, and she's going to talk about bridging your skill gap for 2025 and beyond. And then we get to the larger portion of our evening, which is our panel discussion. We have three amazing speakers tonight who will be talking through thriving in a changing tech world. Tech is hot right now. It affects every aspect of our lives. So understanding how we can first bridge that gap, bridge that skill gap, and then how to thrive in it is really, really important moving forward. And then if you save all your questions for the end, we're going to have a 20-minute 15-20 minute Q&A session towards the end of the evening, where we will gain insights from Nicole and also the rest of the panel. Okay, and then we're going to have a brief introduction into Niyo Labs, and then we're going to talk about some of the packs that you will receive for joining us tonight. So if you need to access the Q&A section on your screen, or if you have a mobile device, in Google Meets, you will see a triangle, square, and circle clustered together. That's the activity center. You click that, and it has Q&A right at the top. So if you drop all your questions in there so that it don't get lost in the chat, that will be brilliant. And like I said, please do introduce yourselves in the chat section. Introduce yourselves. Conversate, let us know where you're from, let us know what you're hoping to gain from today, and let's just conversate. Okay, so welcome, and thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining us here this evening at Future Proof 2025, Skills, Trends, and Connections for Success. So as mentioned before, we have a keynote speaker, Nicole Ayuzi Nelson, and she is an accomplished coach and consultant. She's also spelling mistake. She's also the founder of AUC Consulting. Okay, and tonight she will be talking through how you can bridge that skill gap for 2025 and beyond. We have got a couple minutes till that session starts at 6:40. So I'm going to just give it a few more minutes for more people to join. I'm going to have a look in the chat. So please do drop your names, drop your location, and tell us what you're hoping to gain from tonight. So my name, I don't even think I introduced myself, but my name is Hannah Brewster. I work here at Niyo, and I'm the Community and Impact Manager. So what that means, it means I have lots of fun organizing events like this and other community building activities. So if you want to engage more with us, please do follow us on Instagram, and also join our WhatsApp community where we push all our latest and most current information. I would like to say hi to Rashida. Who else said hi? Hi, Fahima. Fantastic, Birmingham. Niyo is actually based in Birmingham, so it's great to see Birmingham here today. Buki, thank you from Reading. Amazing. Reading's just down the road. Hi, Amma. You're currently on the train. Okay, I love the dedication. If you drop out, please do reconnect. We'll be here till 8:30. Okay, so thank you guys for joining. Um, I'm gonna give it just a couple more minutes just for a few more people to join. But if you don't know who Neo Group are, Neo Group, wow, Plymouth, amazing, amazing. I have never been to Plymouth, but I know it's down south. So thank you for joining us. Um, so Neo is a boot camp provider. We are We offer boot camps to women trying to transition into the tech field, or if they want to become entrepreneurs, we deliver boot camps to them as well. Our main focus is to get underrepresented women into that tech space, because currently women only make up about, especially Black women, only make up about 3% of the UK tech market, which is very alarming. And we are aiming to increase that percentage through delivering boot camps, through increasing access to opportunities like this, access to people currently working in tech as well, for inspiration and motivation. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I would like to welcome Nicole to the stage. Nicole, if you'd like to join me, you turn your camera on and unmute yourself. Oh, just some housekeeping. If we could please all keep um our speakers on mute, our mics on mute when we're not speaking, so we don't get any feedback and we can hear the person on stage talking. So Nicole, are you still with us?
I'm still here. Hey, Hannah.
Hi, fantastic. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, do you have a presentation? Should I stop sharing my screen?
I don't have a presentation, no.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Okay, let me put it on here, and then we'll have you front and center.
Great, thanks. Let me know when ready for me to get started.
I am ready for you.
Okay, amazing. All right. So in 2025, the tech industry is projected to face a critical challenge: a shortage of skilled professionals prepared to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving digital economy. But here's the good news. You have the power to step into that gap and claim your place. For women from the global majority, this isn't just about opportunity, it's about breaking barriers in an industry where we are still underrepresented. As the BBC recently highlighted, the UK tech sector has a long way to go in achieving true equity. That's why conversations like this are so important, and it's why I'm so excited to speak with you all this evening. I'd firstly like to thank Hannah for inviting me to share the space with you all, and thank the Niyo team for all the hard work they've done to bring this event together. Let me start by sharing a bit about my own story. So my journey into tech began in 2016. I was working in customer services at a fintech startup. Back then, I didn't see myself as someone who could lead in the tech space, but I did have a conviction that there was something more. In 2019, I made the leap into product management, and by 2021, I was a product lead at a digital bank. That leap from customer services to product leadership wasn't easy, but it was transformative. The 4 things that made that leap possible for me were commitment, curiosity, consistency, and coaching. So starting with commitment, I spent weekends and bank holidays in the office teaching myself the skills I needed to succeed. Then secondly, curiosity. I shadowed other departments, I asked questions and learned everything I could about the world of product. Thirdly, consistency. Learning wasn't a one-time effort. I built it into my routine, ensuring steady progress every single day. Lastly, and most importantly, coaching. I connected with a mentor who then introduced me to a coach who didn't just help me navigate workplace challenges, they truly helped me step into my power. That coaching relationship accelerated my journey into senior leadership and sparked a vision to create something that I desperately needed, a resource to help others like me to really thrive. In 2020, I founded EASU Consulting with a clear mission to dismantle the barriers holding back exceptional talent and to help organizations drive measurable change that's long-lasting as well. For me, this work isn't just about individual careers. It's about creating a world where identity and ambition aren't obstacles, but actually assets. Through Ayesu Consulting, I've had the privilege of working with individuals and organizations delivering coaching, masterclasses, and workshops on leadership, diversity, and well-being. If any part of my story resonates with you, I want you to know that this is possible for you too. Let's connect after the event if we haven't already. All right, so this evening, we're not just talking about bridging skills gaps, we're talking about breaking barriers, building futures, and stepping into the opportunities that are waiting for us. So let's get started. To begin with, what holds us back from taking the leap and getting to the next level? Let's talk about it, because naming these barriers is the first step to breaking them down. The first barrier might be fear of judgment. You're worried about what people might say. You think you won't be able to handle the criticism. Here's the truth. People always have something to say, but you can't let their opinions stop you. You have to choose your growth over their comfort. Secondly, perfectionism. You're waiting for the next step to be perfect first. But let me tell you, perfection is a myth. Start now, let it be a work in progress, and get better along the way. Thirdly, financial barriers. You think it takes money you don't have. It's time to get creative. Where there's a will, there's a way. Investing in yourself is costly, yes, but your growth is worth it. Finally, the fear of not knowing. You don't know where to start and you're afraid to ask because you think you'll look silly. Here's a secret. It's okay to not know. Embrace what Charles Kettering called intelligent ignorance. The most important thing is knowing the limit of your knowledge and being willing to learn. Okay, now let's move on to what happens when you let go of fear and take that first step toward growth. Firstly, living fully. This is your one life. You owe it to yourself to get everything out of it here and now. Secondly, building resilience. When you're brave enough to go for it, you build a foundation of courage and resilience that will carry you forward. The third is finding joy in work. When you love what you're doing, you have a better chance of succeeding. Passion fuels progress. The next is overcoming negativity. People can say what they want, but when you're focused on your goals, their words won't hold power over you. Personal growth. You are going to grow. You'll learn through the challenges and emerge stronger. Lastly, no regrets. You'll never wonder, what if? Because you took the chance to see what you're made of. You each deserve to see what you're capable of. The first step is hardest, but it's also the most transformative. So let's take that step together. I'll be sharing more actionable steps to help you bridge your skills gaps. But before we move on, take a moment to reflect. What's one fear you're ready to let go of today? Write it down and let's build from there. So over the next 20 minutes or so, I'd like us to walk through how we can get started by assessing our skills gap, some key strategies to close the gap by harnessing passion and play, some key technical and soft skills that are vital for progress and success, then finish up by offering some actionable steps for you to consider moving forward. So to thrive in the workplace of 2025, you need to balance technical expertise with adaptive soft skills. But before you can grow, you need to know where you stand today. Technology is advancing at lightning speed, and workplace dynamics are shifting just as quickly. That's why regularly assessing your skills is not just important, it's essential. The jobs of tomorrow will demand more from us. And staying ahead starts with understanding your past, present, and future. So let's begin with a look inward. Starting with your past. Reflect on your career journey so far. What roles have you held and what skills did you use to excel in them? I invite you to take action by writing this down. Create a skills inventory that includes both your technical skills like coding or data analysis and your soft skills like leadership or problem solving. Now you're present. What about your current role? What skills are you using now and what could you add to your inventory? Your invitation in the present is to identify any barriers to growth, like a need for upskilling or shadowing someone in a role that you aspire to. And then lastly, your future. Think about where you want to go. What skills do your dream roles require and who inspires you? What have they mastered that you haven't yet? The last thing I encourage you to do as part of a self-assessment is to take 5 minutes this week to reflect on your strengths and the areas you'd like to grow in. So knowing yourself is step one, but knowing the trends in your industry is step two. What skills are most in demand for your desired role? Again, we're all about action here. So subscribe to tech newsletters, follow leaders on LinkedIn, and attend events like this one to stay informed. The more you know about where the industry is heading, the more strategically you can position yourself for success. I know this journey can feel overwhelming at times. There's so much information out there, and I won't be able to cover it all this evening. That's why I've created a guide on my website designed specifically for women like you navigating the challenges of career transitions. I've included this in the follow-up resources you'll be sent after the event, so look out for an email with a link to the guide and additional tools to start putting these insights into action. Preparing for your next big career move can be daunting. Change is hard, but it's also a necessity for growth. Martha Beck, a writer and coach, offers a framework called the cycle of change. This resonates with so many of my clients. When it comes to your career, change often falls into one of two categories. The first is wanted and necessary change. This is the change that you need to make, like transitioning into a new role after maternity leave or perhaps redundancy. Here, your instrument of change is passion. Let your drive and purpose guide you forward. The second is wanted but not necessary change. This is the change you desire, like moving into tech because it excites you. For this type of change, your instrument is play. Let's start by diving into passion. This is what you need to draw on for wanted and necessary change. Finding your purpose can feel overwhelming, especially when it seems like everyone else has it all figured out. But here's the truth. Purpose takes time. It's not something you have to discover overnight. Instead, start with passion, because passion can be cultivated. Passion isn't always about having one big calling. It's about paying attention to what moves you. So ask yourself, what activities light me up or energize me? What problems or challenges in the world make me want to take action? What topics do I find myself talking about or exploring, even in my free time? What do I want from the world? What are my core values? How can I align my actions with my beliefs? Passion is like a spark. It grows when you nurture it. You don't need to wait for a grand epiphany to take action. Start small. Follow your curiosity and lean into the things that excite you, even if they don't seem like part of a bigger plan just yet. As you do this, your passions will begin to reveal patterns. These patterns can help guide your decisions and eventually lead you to a larger sense of purpose. Remember, you don't have to wait for clarity to move forward. Passion is a powerful driver, and it will fuel your journey while you figure out the rest. Let it be your guide and trust that purpose will come in its own time. Coaching can help you explore these questions and turn self-awareness into actionable steps. It creates the space to dream, reflect, and build confidence in your purpose. Okay, on to play. This is the instrument for wanted but not necessary change. Play is about doing something for the joy of it. It's low pressure, fun, and chosen freely. According to Dr. Stuart Brown, play is an absorbing, apparently purposeless activity that provides enjoyment and a suspension of self-consciousness and sense of time. Play is not just about having fun, it's a vital tool for personal and professional growth. To understand why, let's briefly explore two key concepts: neuroplasticity and cognitive rigidity. Starting with neuroplasticity. This is your brain's ability to adapt and rewire itself based on experiences. Think of it as the ultimate flexibility. Every time we learn something new or engage in creative problem solving, your brain strengthens connections and forms new pathways. Play is one of the best ways to activate neuroplasticity, and here's why. Low stakes exploration. Play creates a safe environment where there's no pressure to get it right. This freedom encourages experimentation and risk-taking, which are essential for learning. Secondly, enhanced creativity. During play, your brain enters a state of curiosity and openness, making it easier to see new possibilities or solve problems in innovative ways. And thirdly, stress reduction. Play reduces cortisol.
And my cousin told him, oh, my cousin,
One second.
me.
Hi,
I got
sorry,
that.
you're not on mute. Okay. Sorry about that. Continue.
No worries. I thought it was weird feedback or something. So stress reduction. Play reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and increases dopamine, which is the feel-good hormone. This creates an optimal mental state for growth and learning. When you embrace play, you're actively training your brain to be more adaptable and resilient. So cognitive rigidity, on the other hand, is the opposite of neuroplasticity. It's when your brain gets stuck in familiar patterns and resists adapting to new challenges. While routines and habits can provide stability, too much rigidity actually limits your ability to grow, innovate, or respond to change. And this is where play comes in as an antidote. By engaging in activities that spark joy and curiosity, you disrupt rigid patterns and unlock new ways of thinking. When you're in a state of play, your brain often enters a flow state, a condition where you're fully immersed in an activity. You lose track of time and feel a sense of effortless engagement. This state is where your brain does some of its best work. So here are a few actionable steps to incorporate a bit more play as you navigate your career transition. Firstly, be open and curious. Look for opportunities to try new activities, even ones unrelated to your work. The goal is to explore without pressure. Secondly, seek playful moments. Add small moments of play into your day, like brainstorming ideas while doodling or gamifying a task you usually dread. Thirdly, avoid isolation. Play often thrives in collaboration, so connect with colleagues or friends for activities that combine both fun and teamwork. Lastly, focus on joy. Choose activities that bring you genuine happiness, whether it's dancing or solving puzzles or building something with your hands. Play should feel enjoyable and freeing. So in summary, play is a pathway to growth because it keeps your brain flexible and ready to embrace change. By intentionally engaging in playful activities, you strengthen your ability to think creatively, solve problems, and adapt to the ever-changing demands of the workplace and life. Embrace play as a tool for both personal fulfillment and professional success. It's not just about having fun, it's about unlocking your full potential. Okay, quick break for story time. Let me tell you about a client of mine. She was a super ambitious young woman raised by immigrant parents who wanted the best for her. And the best they had in mind was to be either a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. Who can relate to that? My client found themselves trapped in a career that they never chose. Pressured by their parents, they ended up in a job they despised, in a field that they had no passion for. For years, they felt stuck, terrified of making a change, but equally fearful of staying where they were. Then, through a friend's introduction, we began working together to explore what they truly wanted and how to make a career pivot. Shout out to those friends who are with you in your low moments, but refuse to let you stay there. So over several one-on-one sessions, we took a deep dive into their skills and experiences, crafting a compelling narrative that would resonate with hiring managers, even for a completely different role. Early in the process, we went through an exercise called Me Plus together. This helped them create a clear vision of their future self, one rooted not in job titles, but in meaningful tasks, desired skills, and a lifestyle that brought both purpose and pleasure. By reflecting on what made them feel happy and fulfilled, they could pinpoint the specific tasks and skills that aligned with their strengths and passions. Their dream was to transition from the healthcare industry into tech. Of course, this wasn't without challenges. So together we created a clear, actionable roadmap, detailing the skills they needed to develop and the experiences that they could leverage to prepare for the leap. Alongside the technical preparation, we worked on building their confidence and expanding their professional network. The most transformative part of the journey was the mindset shift. As we progressed, they developed a deep conviction that this new role was aligned with their purpose, a role that would not only bring career fulfillment, but also make their life lighter and more energized. It was a role that matched their natural strengths, supported the lifestyle they envisioned, and felt meaningful. Within 6 months, they made the leap, moving from their NHS job into an analyst role at a tech company. The result? A 50% salary increase, and more importantly, a career that finally felt like a reflection of their true self. Remember, every step you take brings you closer to your goal. The journey isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Okay, now let's get technical. Whether you're looking to break into tech or aiming for that next level role, the good news is you don't have to master everything at once, but you do have to start. I believe the tech skills of tomorrow include data literacy, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and the basics of machine learning. It's likely you've heard all of these before, but they're more than just buzzwords. They're building blocks for high demand, high impact careers. Data literacy will help you make informed decisions using insights. Cloud computing opens doors to scalable modern solutions. And AI and ML, that's your ticket to the forefront of innovation. Here's how you can start bridging your skills gaps today. Leverage accessible learning platforms. The world has never been more generous of knowledge. Platforms like Coursera and Code Academy and resources from organizations like Niyo offer free or low-cost programs that fit into your busy life. So you can upskill during your lunch break, after work, or on weekends, all on your terms. Secondly, plug into a community for support. Skills alone won't take you to the top. You need a network to climb with. So join spaces where you'll find mentors, peers, and allies cheering you on. Seek out local meetups or LinkedIn groups that align with your goals. It's in these spaces that opportunities and collaborations are born. And third, start small, but start now. Progress isn't about leaps, it's about consistent steps forward. So pick one skill, whether it's exploring an Excel course for data analysis or watching a beginner's guide to cloud computing on YouTube, and commit to it. Remember, every skill you learn, every connection you make, and every step you take today is a brick in the foundation of your future success. You don't need to have all the answers yet. What matters is that you're on the journey. And I promise you, this virtual room is filled with women who are rooting for you. Now, while tech skills might get your foot in the door, soft skills are what help you stay there. The future workplace values empathy, adaptability, and collaboration just as much as it values coding. In fact, they're often the differentiators between someone who's simply qualified and someone who's truly exceptional. Take note, a growing number of companies, like JP Morgan most recently, are requiring employees to return to offices full-time, bringing renewed focus to how we show up in shared spaces. Your presence, ability to network, and speaking skills are no longer just nice to haves, they're essentials. So let's talk through some of these soft skills. Firstly, adaptability. This means using your skills and strengths to rise to the moment. It's about stretching yourself in new directions while staying grounded in your values and identity. Think of it as a tool that you can flex to meet the needs of any situation. The next is strategic thinking, which allows you to step back, see the bigger picture, and plan for the future. It's what keeps you aligned with your long-term goals and prevents the day-to-day grind from turning your work into a series of reactive tasks. Next, collaboration. Collaboration is about bringing people together to work more effectively. In an increasingly complex world with more people and technologies involved, mastering the art of keeping collaboration simple and impactful is a powerful career skill. Building trust and being the person that people want on their projects is crucial. Next, problem solving. This keeps you moving forward when faced with unexpected challenges or changes. Instead of avoiding problems, it's about seeing them as opportunities to innovate and approach things differently. Great problem solvers tackle challenges with both creativity and determination. Next, we have presenting. This is about communicating ideas clearly and confidently, whether in a team meeting or a high-stakes pitch. Presenting is your chance to amplify your ideas and make a bigger impact at work. By finding a style that feels natural to you, you can communicate with confidence and foster genuine connections with your audience. Even as an individual contributor, yes, including in roles like software engineering, these skills matter deeply. And then finally, we can't talk about soft skills without getting into confidence, because confidence is currency. When you walk into a room as if you already belong, people treat you like you do. Think about your role models. They didn't wait for a perfect CV or the right credentials to step into their power. Neither should you. The best way to overcome imposter syndrome is simple but profound. Focus on your mission, not your CV. When your mission drives you, your doubts start to fade. So here's how you can start mastering these invaluable soft skills today. Firstly, practice active listening and clear communication. Whether it's in meetings, emails, or casual chats, show people that you hear them and articulate your thoughts with clarity. Being a good communicator makes you unforgettable. Secondly, seek mentorship or coaching. Sometimes we need someone in our corner, someone who sees our potential before we do. Mentors and coaches can help refine your leadership, enhance your confidence, and push you to new heights. The final thing I'd say is show up before you actually feel ready. Volunteer for that presentation, lead that team discussion, or propose that bold idea. The more you step into these moments, the more natural they'll feel. Remember, confidence grows through action. It's built step by step, opportunity by opportunity. So take up space, share your voice, and watch how the world responds when you bring your whole self to the table. As we wrap up, let's talk about taking that first step and building the momentum from there. The journey to upskill and grow in your career comes with its challenges. Imposter syndrome might tell you that you're not ready. Time constraints may make learning new skills feel impossible. Let me remind you, you don't have to do everything at once. Focus on one skill at a time and celebrate every win, no matter how small. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Another key part of building momentum is your network. Build relationships with people who inspire you, people who are where you want to be or who are walking a similar path. Networking isn't just about asking for help, it's about creating connections that uplift and energize you. If you're looking for a place to start, let me be part of your network. Connect with me on LinkedIn and feel free to visit my website for free career and leadership development resources. Your growth doesn't have to happen in isolation. So start advocating for yourself within your workplace. Speak to your manager about investing in your development, whether that's funding a coaching program, providing mentorship opportunities, or bringing in experts to help the whole team thrive. And if they need ideas, I'd be happy to help. Reach out after the event and let's start a conversation. Advocacy isn't just about asking for resources, it's about showing your employer the value of investing in your potential. Thank you all for showing up for your future selves this evening. Each of you has a unique story, a story that deserves to be told, celebrated, and built upon. As we've explored, growth begins with recognizing your strengths, identifying the gaps, and taking bold, consistent steps towards your dreams. Whether it's embracing the power of passion, rediscovering the joy of play, or honing the technical and soft skills that define impactful leaders, you have everything you need to thrive. Imagine a version of yourself a year from now, someone who took that first step, no matter how small, and kept moving forward. Someone who faced fear, but chose courage. That future is within your grasp. This isn't just about individual success. It's about breaking barriers and building futures, not just for ourselves, but for the next generation. Together, we are reshaping what leadership looks like and who it includes. So as I wrap up this evening, ask yourself, what is one step, one action that I can take to move closer to the future I envision? Write it down, commit to it, and take that step. Remember, your career isn't just about the work you do, it's about the impact that you're destined to create. Even if you start small, Just make sure you start and watch how your success compounds. Thank you.
That is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Nicole. Honestly, I love listening to you speak. Please do stick around for the Q&A session. If anyone has any questions for Nicole, please do drop it in the Q&A section and I will pose it to her later. So thank you so much. Like, just some powerful, very powerful messages coming through tonight. I'm not gonna take yes, very, very motivational. I am not going to get into it now. I'll wait till later. But I would now like to invite Sidra, Emma, and Cliff to the stage with myself. I'm just going to pin you guys so that we can see you. So we are now moving on to the Q&A section of tonight. Let me just get everybody set up. 1 second. Let me find everyone here. So please, guys, if you have any questions, pop it in the Q&A section or in the chat. So I'm also gonna pin myself. Oh, no, I can't do that. Okay, so in this session tonight, we have Cliff, who is a delivery principal at And Digital, joining us. We also have Emma, who is a software engineer and also Niyo alum. So she has transitioned into tech from a previous career. And then we have Sidra, who is an AI ethics consultant at And Digital as well. So thank you to the And Digital team for supporting us, and thank you so much to Emma for joining us here tonight. I think this AI ethics consultant is amazing. Emma with her And Digital match. Love it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to stop presenting so that we can have this screen fully on our panel. She got the swag. Okay, so let's see if I can now pin myself. No, that's fine. I don't need to be pinned. Okay, I hope that everyone can see our panelists here with us tonight. Same concept as earlier. If you have any questions, please do pop it in the Q&A section. You can even pop it in the chat. I see some people have had difficulties finding the Q&A session, so pop it in the chat. Directly after this, we will be having the Q&A session, so please save all your questions for that. But just before we start, I would like to, I'm going to work from how it is laid out on my screen. So I would like each of the panelists to introduce themselves and just give a brief, just share your journey into tech, just a brief overview of it. So on my screen right now, we have Sidra, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your tech journey.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Yeah, I'm Sidra Hassan, and I have been in tech for the last 6 years. So I graduated in 2018, which feels forever ago now. And I studied international politics and public policy. And actually what I wanted to do was go into the third sector or an NGO with the goal of working in the United Nations one day. But that didn't pan out. I wasn't able to just go. I didn't speak another European language. I didn't just have money lying around to do, internships. So actually I started to look at what else is out there, and I'd heard about project management. So I looked at these graduate schemes, and that's how I kind of fell into tech. I never really expected to go into tech. I didn't really know anything about tech. But when I joined my last company as a graduate, which was also a consultancy, we had a 3-week boot camp. And during that, one of our mentors talked about digital ethics. And that was my kind of spark where I was like, oh my goodness, I can bring what I love and what motivates me, the ethics, the responsible, how it affects people, the diversity and inclusion aspect into the world of tech. I didn't know that existed. So after that, I just kind of started to slowly put the building blocks together and really get creative with what opportunities there were in my kind of vicinity, how I could work, a lot of what Nicole said, how could I kind of work smarter, not necessarily harder, to get to where I wanted to be. So long story short, that's how I ended up here 6 years later. And that's me. I'll pass on to Cliff. You're next to me.
Hi, Cliff Aguzzi. So I started out in tech, not by accident, but actually because I decided to do something that I enjoyed for a change. Many, many years ago, longer than 2018, by the way, Sidra, I did my undergraduate in English because I thought I was going to be an English teacher. And then I thought, well, hang on a second, why don't I check out some schools and do some tests to see what it's like? And I figured out that actually being a teacher was not the right fit for me. So I thought, well, what do I actually want to do? And I loved tech. So I retrained and did another course, did a master's in software engineering, which is quite a stretch, quite a challenge. And at the end of that, I thought, I still love tech, but I'm probably not going to be the best engineer out there. What else do I like in the industry? And whilst I was on the course, I learned quite a lot about project management in the software and infrastructure environment. And I thought, you know what, I'd love to build a career around that. So I started work, and the first job that I worked in, I eventually worked my way up into a project management role and got trained as well, and got some accreditation. And then I just moved on into other similar related roles and built my career from there. And I probably spent the majority of my career working for sort of well-known large banks in project and what we call program management and that sort of space, really. And then I found AND Digital, and I thought, actually, wow, wouldn't it be great to not just work for one company, but for be greedy and work for lots of companies all at the same time? And that's exactly what AND provides. And we support businesses, large and small, and other organizations in delivering on their technical and technology agenda and their digital agenda. And it's been great.
Thank you, Cliff. Over to you, Emma.
Hi. Okay. Well, I see someone popped in the chat. You know, they see a lot of things on job descriptions requiring computer or science or IT as some kind of degree. So hopefully, if I roll back my experience and talk about how I got here, you'll understand a lot of what our keynote speaker was speaking about is confidence. And if you know me or you've seen me before, I'm just like, confident, you have to be confident. If anything in life, you have to have confidence, okay? I'm a personality. So I'm neurodiverse. I have dyslexia. So, and then I'm Jamaican on top of that through my dad, born in the UK. Failed my GCSEs at school, but one thing I could do was sing. Now, I'm going to say that I didn't want to sing. It was more everybody saying, you sing, oh my God, you're phenomenal. Like, wow. But that's not what I wanted to do. It was sort of coming up in Handsworth, Birmingham. It was all I could do as a young Black female, 16 years old, went to school, sang my way, failed my GCSEs, but auditioned to get into college. Because it was an audition, not relying on GCSEs, did the college, BTEC National Diploma, did higher national diploma in music, got to university. They said, where are you coming from? I was like, Handsworth, Birmingham. And they were like, oh. But I didn't even know how to read nor write. I could sing. So that was the path. I had no choice. If I was going to kind of get out of the situation, then I had to kind of sing, redo the year at Coventry University, that when they put me back, and then write a dissertation, 10,000 words. Now, the dyslexia and knowing myself means that I am always the underdog. I am always at the back of the class, but I'm destined for greatness. As a friend of mine, I think she's in the room, Marika, said at a black tie event where I met AND Digital, she says, you are a star trying to fit a square, not a circle trying to fit a square. And sometimes I don't fit into every room, but one thing I'm going to be, honey, I'm going to be myself. I'm a performer. but I have great responsibility to inspire. So long story short, finished university, understood that I had a music degree, took that to the job center, no jobs. So I was always going to create my own road. So I became one of the best vocal coaches internationally. Pandemic hit. I didn't like the superstars that were around, how they lived, what they stood for. Just wasn't my vibe, you know, like it was never my road. I was just going to be the best. Pandemic hit, got a email saying 50 women to be tech full stack developers. They refused my application. I wrote them an email, says, why me? They got back to me and said they had one more space. I got onto that boot camp, went to KPMG, and there's a pattern here for me. Went to KPMG. That's where I decided I was going to go. Heard it was the largest globally. Never heard of them before in my life. So I put blinkers on. I'm going to go to the largest in the world. Did the interview, failed the interview, but they said, we like you. You are curious. We have another role. So I didn't get DevOps. I got software engineering. Out of 64,000 people, they chose about 1,100 people. And I was one to come in as experienced hire. And when I asked, I was like, why me? But I took redundancy a few months ago. End of the story. Was there for 3 years. So I got redundancy and that fat check. I invested, and since September till today, I've created 2 businesses. One, brick and mortar, which is studios that I've built the website. People book online. I do not have to be there, and the money starts rolling in. And in 3 months, it has become, everybody talking about it. We love your space because it's a reflection of well-being and who I am. And the second business I am starting is a data tech entrepreneur business. And then I will go into a dream role of AI, but not before I build and firmly build deep down the foundations of, I will never be redundant again, not on anybody's watch or fall back where I can't have a firm foundation. And that's me.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. I'm sorry, but Emma has completely outshone everyone tonight. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful story, Emma. Honestly, it's a really it's a testament to your ability and how like you said, you know, a star can't fit into a square, you know, so it's about taking the path that's right for you.
Marika B, let me quote Marika B. You told me that.
Amazing. So what I want to talk to you guys now about is, like, we're talking about the future of tech. This question I'm gonna single out Cliff. What excites you most about the future of tech right now?
I'm gonna come up with just a I guess off the cuff one. What excites me the most actually is about the things that we don't even know about yet. So we only seem to know about a year or two ahead. Very cool when ChatGPT happened. Nobody was really prepared for it. But what people are also not prepared for is the fact that that's just the beginning. It's just the beginning of AI. It's actually quite a smallish, relatively small use case. And so what excites me is the future. There's so much more technology that's out there that will be used in the real world, hopefully to make our lives better. And I want to see it happen. I want to be around when it happens and hopefully be part of it when it happens as well. So I think for me, generally speaking, it's the future. And also what I think is, and what I'm hoping is the democratization of technology, so that it's not just a case of you must have this background or that background to be in tech or to have a specific type of career. I think we're relatively fortunate in this age, in that we can, if we really wanted to, pick up skills without having, quote unquote, a formal education. It obviously helps, it matters, great, lovely. It's not essential. And I want to see more of that in the future. Wouldn't it be great?
Amazing. Thank you so much. 100%. And we can tell even from Sidra, your story of, you know, going through a boot camp to get into tech. It's also, you know, it's not just again, one size fits all, and it's about bringing in people from different different paths. Again, to you, same question, Citra. What is exciting you about tech right now, or the future of tech?
I think I'm really inspired by Emma's story, as a lot of us here are. But I think that's exactly what excites me about the future of tech, is that there are so many more routes than there ever used to be, even just a decade ago, to get into tech, to make a difference, to, you know, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I know there's a question about all the job descriptions are asking for X, Y, and Z degree. And I think that is telling of the job market right now as well, where people are really wanting kind of deep expertise and skills, but that doesn't stay that way for a long time. It's constantly going and kind of peaks and troughs. And what I would say is the thing that sets you apart is your motivation. There are many ways to get in, from apprenticeships to boot camps to your network. Emma, again, has proven that there's many ways into it. So I think that's what excites me. That, like to Cliff's point, is hopefully the democratization, there we go, will continue to happen, and it will open up new paths. More people will be able to have an impact, because this technology is impacting all of us, and we should get a say in how it's made and get our voices into the room, because we're the ones using it, us, our families, our future kids. So yeah, I think that's what's exciting for me.
Amazing. Well said. I'm just going to hop over to Emma. Emma, your journey has been absolutely incredible, from, you know, failing your GCSEs to developing a career within software engineering at KPMG, which was your primary goal, to now owning 2 businesses. What has inspired that sort of driving you? I think you touched on it a little bit earlier on, but what has inspired that real transition for you? How did you find the bootcamp experience?
The bootcamp was amazing. I think that ultimately, when your back is against the wall, you fight your way out. There's sometimes you have got to have some pressures, and I'm not really religious, but I know God, and I put my fear in God. Like, my dreams can come true, but you have peaks and troughs. You have to go through some things and then figure out what you're made of to push through. If I hadn't sent that email, if I didn't question that thing, because forget imposter syndrome, sometimes you really have got to figure out, you know, what am I made of, but prepare well in advance. I want to say something on that last point that you made, so just bear with me, everybody, because I just want you to just think about something. Okay, we had the Stone Age, correct? Then we had the Golden Age, correct? Am I right? We did, right? Then there was, like, you know, the Blood Diamond times, the age of the diamonds, before we hit that 2000 mark where all computers were going to crash. We were there, right? We're in the age of technology, and we're only 25 years in. So AI did come as like a shock, but some people were prepared. But I just want to prepare everybody for something, because to be at the forefront of things is a great energy. But I want you to just understand quantum is coming, because it's something nobody understands quite yet. And what quantum is going to do is it's just going to be a bit more accurate. Are you following me? So for me, I've always been different, and that fight has always been different. I've come from somewhere I've had to, you know, use a bit of backbone. But I'm trying to tell everyone, you see the speed of light. You see, if you look at the fiber optics and what the Internet of Things really is, those fibers, that's our nervous system. No computer can ever beat your imagination, what you think, what you want. You see all those nerves that go through your body, that quick decision. That is ultimately what AI is trying to do. It's trying to imitate us. But let me put it like this, guys. You can't stop a good thing, you know. Many people will try to stop you, but the only thing stopping you is you. So when you start to face those challenges, when we're at the forefront of things, when that word curiosity, you have to be as curious as a cat. And the more you're curious, and with technology, you are answering and coming up with solutions to questions. Question yourself. That's what I'm going to say. Just one more thing, just so that I'm not losing everybody, because that's what neurodiverse people do. You are one. the only one, full of purposeful one. So if you want to get into something, manifest that. Ask yourself why I didn't challenge myself. And that is what you see in me, if that answers your question, Hannah.
Amazing. I think I can agree with a lot of comments in the chat where that you should start a podcast and it should be some kind of motivational podcast. But absolutely brilliant. But we're going to pull it back in and continue on with our topic for tonight. And I just want to address Sidra as an AI ethics consultant. Your focus on shaping tech for the greater good, right? So how do you foresee AI influencing the workplace in the coming years?
Heavily, I think, as we all probably anticipate.
You can definitely see it right now, but it's...
Yes, but more. So I think, I say this to a lot of people. I feel like I go to sleep at night and I wake up in hot sweats because I'm already like 2 years behind what's happened just in those like 10 hours, or well, 7 hours that I've been asleep. So yeah, I think that AI is of course going to have a big impact. Gen AI has been massive, and we'll see things like agentic AI and really start to just the art of the possible that we've not quite realized yet. But I think as well that in the World Economic Forum report that you kind of sent, Hannah, so everyone can kind of see that as well. But the trends, there was a LinkedIn survey as well, and all of these work future trends, it's showing that AI roles are the fastest growing and they will continue to grow. And the second ones are kind of robotics, automation, data. So we're already seeing the impact that it's going to have, and it's having globally. So of course it's going to have a massive impact on our workplace. And I think that's when I start to think of the future as not, okay, how can we make ourselves best placed for AI? I think that this kind of touches on Emma's point, but it's how can we make ourselves ready for the future of work, full stop? Because it will constantly change. There will be new technology, there's quantum, there's kind of AGI as well, if you fall into that camp. That's artificial general intelligence, and that is matching or surpassing human level intelligence. So I think it's just really about how can you make yourself indispensable, and actually it really does go down to what makes you unique. I think there's a question in the chat earlier about, if you've had negative feedback, how do you bring your confidence back? And it's by reflecting, if you haven't already, on what your strengths are and playing to your strengths while you figure out how to work on your weaknesses. But actually what makes you unique is that you've got that balance of, this is where I'm really good and this is where I'm not so good. Use that, figure out how to work it in a creative way, and you'll be surprised with what happens.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Spot on advice as well. It's definitely about finding that balance and driving with your strengths whilst working on your weaknesses. Cliff, you mentioned that you've been in the tech field for a number of years now. How have you seen technology advance from when you started to now?
Now, I could talk to you about my BlackBerry phone and how everyone loved having BlackBerry phones back in the day and how that's evolved, but that's probably a bit boring. I can barely remember that. But how has it evolved? I think the way it's evolved in a good way and a bad way. So there was a time where you could be on phone calls, have meetings on phone calls, and then have face-to-face meetings, and that was it. And the odd email, of course, emails. Now we have emails, we have multiple Slack or Teams, depending on which sub-team you're part of, as well as emails, as well as video calls, etc., etc. So in many respects, I think technology in the workplace has actually potentially had the opposite effect. I don't think we're as productive as we think we are, first of all. However, the tools to be productive are there. And so in many respects, I think we have to be more careful and more focused about how we use our time in the workplace and even away from the workplace. Because yes, the tools are there, but because there's so many of them, it's made us less focused on work, less able to do, I think, a more effective day's work without too many distractions, and therefore more reliant on technology that doesn't always help us per se. So that's the downside of it. And I think I guess it's for us to just really figure it out and acknowledge that's what it is, and pick our battles, right? And organize ourselves better as a result. And I think in the positive way, technology has evolved in terms of our lifestyle. We have more choice and we actually have more time now. So there's tech out there which gives us the ability to be able to do less for ourselves and almost farm it out. So I can do a lot of research much quicker now than I could have done before, right? Because of using Anthropic or whatever it may be, or Perplexity. That's useful because it's enabled me to learn more, build more knowledge, but at a faster pace. Even little things like, like listening to an audiobook on 2 times speed. That's a form of technology, but it allows us to absorb information quicker and increase our capabilities quicker. And linking that to, I guess, career development, I would say use technology to your advantage in that way, as well as socially, of course, as well, because the distractions can also be really, really good to help you to get ahead of the game and acknowledge when it's becoming a problem and when you can flip it and make it a beneficiary for you. So that's what I would say. I mean, I could talk about other types of technology, but I'll just try to keep it real in terms of how it relates to us today. And then the last thing I'd say is the future of where tech could be in the workplace, is that we could have even more collaboration available to us, which could mean that there's less human interaction. And that again can be good for people because it gives them space to live their life and log off and go and do other things without trouble. However, our humanness, our humanity, and our ability to interact with other humans effectively is really, really important. And I would say it's even more important now and in the future as tech expands and develops than it is today, because that's what's going to make us more marketable, more valuable, more meaningful, and feel more, have more achievement, or feel more fulfilled in life and in the workplace. So there we go.
Amazing. So are you saying that sort of whilst technology is great for connecting people, it's also kind of also reducing that human element, that human connection with people? Because right now we're all connected, but we're not in the same room. So it's important for us to actively seek out that human connection.
Definitely. I mean, I'd say this is a great use of technology, right? Because we're connecting with each other, but there are other ways we can do it which can become a distraction. So we just need to be really mindful of how we go about it.
Okay, brilliant. I do like that. That's something that we really need to think about as individual and people as well. I completely agree with that statement. Emma, to you, how has technology helped you develop your entrepreneurial business?
Essential. So for example, today, in my tech journey, I've built a URL. It's been me and my best friend, okay? And ChatGPT is my best friend, okay? I talk to it. I even give it brownies. I say, you need a cookie I says, yes, ChatGPT, we achieved it today. What would you like? Right? And ChatGPT said, if I had taste buds. And that's the relationship that we've formed. Now, I am building a large language model, so I've got to take it piece by piece. And I'm telling it exactly what my intelligent brain wants to see. And it's giving me the code. Now, sometimes the code is wrong. 9 times out of 10, the code is wrong. But we work through it. And at the same time, I'm learning. So I've been able to build out my business in a way where, and that interaction with people, I went to And Digital because those people are amazing. Y'all are amazing. I went to your conference and you spoke about Snowflake. I came home and I said, chat, I discovered Snowflake today. We are going to monetize our data. How do we do it? I want to go from this URL. I want to clean data, because I learned about clean data and digital. If it wasn't for that interaction, I probably wouldn't have started my data business, because the day that I came home, that's my decision. I told ChatGPT, the AI, this is my decision. I need to go from, and I need to own it. So I don't need a Wix. I don't need a Jot form. I don't need a Google form. I need to keep my costs low. So I have built from code because of Niyo Enterprises. I'm a coder. I have built for us, and I said I need it in React. So everything I did at KPMG, everything that I did from 9 till 5 and it sold to somebody else, I put that 9 to 5 into myself, while I've given myself X amount of months to really take all that knowledge and put into myself. So my tech business has built the website. I found exactly the swoop and the whoop and the UI that I feel like I want, that I would have to pay a monthly subscription at Wix for, but I'm going to own it, and I'm going to build it from React and push it to the Git hub. Now I own it. Now I found someone that said, oh, pay us what you like. It swooped, it whooped, and I paid them like £5. I could have paid them £100. But you start to use open source if you can code, and you can learn this in the background. You don't need to do Code Academy anymore. You can do Chat GPT. It will give you the code and you learn on the fly. So I'm using that to my advantage, because remember, I'm thinking in quantum. Okay, this is back in the day technology to my son. This is 2025. By 2032, believe me, lightning speed, because we're in the age of tech. So right now, Chat GPT, we've got the UI. Now I need to understand how to monetize my data. They've taught me about Lime Survey. Why Lime Survey? Because I'm not paying a subscription fee, and I can work on the back end and build the back end myself and build the logic. How do we do this? How do I make this logic work? Chat. Well, this is how you can do it. Now we're moving on. It's telling me I need VPS. I need a virtual private network. Fine. DigitalOcean. Here's the options. Pick one. Well, what's it going to serve me long-term, chat? You understand my vision. I have trained you to be me. Not only that, when on my other business, when I get a message saying we want to book your studio, I say chat reply, and it will reply as me, because I have trained it. So that has reduced my time to work in 2 businesses while building that foundation deep. Now I'm at the point where I says, instead of going to Snowflake and paying the fee, how do I replicate Snowflake that I learned under digital? How do I build my own Snowflake, prepare it, clean the data, and use pandas, use Postgres SQL, feed that back to my computer where I own everything. So when I go into pitching my business, I own all my data. It comes back to me. Now, because I believe I'm genius like that, me and chat work in tandem. Understanding it will get things wrong. I hope somebody's listening today, because you don't have to, you have got to prepare for tech. Tech is going to come onto you, and you're still going to be trying to put the tape into the tape deck, or the CD into the car, or use your iPad, or try and hit your BlackBerry, even though it's out of commission. All of this stuff is going to be void tomorrow, because we are moving at lightning speed. And I'm going to tell you, don't be afraid of AI. You can just plug out Alexa, you can throw water on her, she will not work anymore. It's electricity. We walk over snow, we use umbrellas to shield us from the rain. We cover up, we're humans. We are the top Panaris in the universe, what we're capable of, if only we knew it for ourselves. But you have got to be curious and time. And one more thing. I read today, we're going to go down to 4-day working weeks, because we value our time. We only have a short time on earth. So while you're living in a technological space, the best thing for you to do is just figure out, what am I curious about? And then start to use your AI experience to speed up your ability to think and do, because that's what it ultimately comes down to. And the accuracy and the, what is it that Sidra, that you were ethics, anything that you do in technology has always got to be, how's your privacy and your security? And if you can work out your policies, your privacy, your security in anything that you want to do, then just, I hope I'm coming across as an example, because I'm not asking nobody if I can. I have willpower.
Thank you so much, Emma. I think you you demonstrated exactly what Cliff was saying about the use of technology and how it can reduce the amount of time that you take to do something, and then also help us do more with less. Because in reality, if you were doing this, let's say 5-6 years ago, you would have needed a whole team behind you. You would have needed an office space behind you. You would have needed so much more back end behind you before you could actually deliver an end product, and before you could gain the real understanding into what you needed. But through technology, you've been able to sort of speed it up. So I think you've demonstrated exactly what Cliff just mentioned. Would you agree with that, Cliff? Yeah.
Completely. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to move swiftly on. This is going to be like an open question to everyone. I want everyone to be involved in this question, or give me an answer to this question. And we're going to give it over to Sidra first. So we talked a lot about like technical skills tonight. I just want to focus a little bit on soft skills. So I know that Nicole touched on quite important soft skills actually earlier this evening. But in terms of soft skills, what soft skills do you think will be crucial in the workplace in 2025 and moving forward?
I think it's soft skills that we've probably heard of before, and the ones that we've been taught to throughout school with our parents. If you went to uni or college, anything like that, we've been told to hone them in. But it's definitely communication. And I would say that especially with the rise of AI, very important, critical thinking and critical analysis. I think as we become reliant on technology, we maybe forget to do some of that critical analysis, but actually when you're getting the output back from whatever tool you're using, just read over it. Make sure, like Emma mentioned earlier, you know, you're using ChatGPT to help you code, but 9 times out of 10 it doesn't get it right. And that's because that's the nature of Gen AI right now. It's still maturing, and while there's advancements that will happen and it will get better and there's tools now out there, that human oversight is so important. So those two things, communication and critical thinking. And I think one thing that AI can't do, and not yet, and I don't think in the future, but being able to see that big picture, but also that little detail. We as humans are fantastic at that, seeing how the things come together, being able to really resonate and relate to another person. You know, when I'm listening to Cliff and Emma, I'm like, oh yes, I can relate to that and I totally understand. And when Nicole's saying, you know, hone in on your confidence, I'm like, yeah, it really makes me feel a certain way. It draws on my emotions, and I think that's such a human thing. And being able to use that, because a lot of what happens in tech business, actually whatever industry you're in, you're doing some sort of stakeholder management, whether it's your friends, your colleagues, your manager. I feel like I have to stakeholder manage my 2-year-old child very often. You know, it's all of those skills, and that's what sets us apart from technology and AI. While it's really trying to replicate how our brains and neural networks work, we need to be really going back to the basics of what makes us human, what makes us, you know, I feel like this one-liner that I've been really proud of is, how do we amplify that human-to-human connection in an increasingly human-to-technology world? So I think, yeah, those 3 things, communication, seeing the bigger picture, and critical analysis are really important soft skills.
Brilliant. Thank you. And yourself, Emma, what is there any additional skills that you think we should add to that? Additional soft skills?
Absolutely. Soft skills aren't a computer thing. It's a us thing. And I've mentioned before, and digital, being in that room, hearing what they say, being at a table, questioning an email. These are all parts of my fight or flight. Right? So soft skill, and then go into KPMG now. Why they hired a big mouth like me, I couldn't tell you, because I weren't changing for nobody. And I didn't learn that in rooms. There was a code. you have to bring it down at certain tables. I didn't know. I think I was talking to Cliff about it. I'm like, there is a code. When did they start this code? Because I don't subscribe. I'm me. And then when I was at KPMG, I was a breath of fresh air. People were like, oh, thank God Emma said it, but I'm always the one to put myself into that fire. So what are soft skills that you have got to have? It is part of your confidence to challenge status quos. It's your confidence to speak up, because you're not just always speaking up for yourself. And I'm like, Marmite, I realize this. It's like you hate me and you love me all at the same time. But if I wasn't me, then somebody in the room wouldn't have took up that little tiny piece of me and gone on to do something where they was able to use it somewhere else. So I just want everybody in the room with your mics unmute to repeat after me. My network is my net worth, because that's not going to get old. My network is my net worth. It's not what you know, it's who you know, but it's how you know them. And this book that I read, Richest Man in Babylon, as a dyslexic person, that was probably one book I ever read in my life, cover to cover, with no aid, because I figured, oh, let me use this. So I was just the richest person I knew, even when I had no money. So when you are around conversations or turning up to rooms like this, and you even take 3 points out of 50 that were made, those 3 points will change your life. And I'm a testament to that, because when I went to And Digital, at the Black Tie event, I saw them, and then I went to their offices, and look here now, I'm on a panel with them again today. Look at God. It's my ambition to be a public speaker. So soft skills are just taking what you're learning in your environment and then going into more environments to see what else you can pollinate and pick up, and then holding yourself accountable to utilizing those things and paying it forward. That's what somebody called it, sending the elevator back down, not putting your foot in there and keeping it up. These are soft skills that grow you in your character as you grow as a human being, and grow as an incredible one. Be nice. People like when they feel like, I've related and they applauded me, and people like that. So always be nice, guys. It doesn't cost you anything. I want you to have this feeling and carry that forward. Those are soft skills.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Emma. Completely agree. We need to network. We need to be ourselves and bring ourselves to that workplace. And we definitely need to make sure that we're sending the elevator back down for others to come up with us. So absolutely brilliant. And Cliff, is there any more soft skills that you think that we can add to this roster?
Wow, everyone has given amazing answers. So it's kind of all the great answers are there, to be honest with you. All of them are fantastic.
Brilliant.
So one thing I would say, which is probably less of a soft skill, but more of a mindset, which then enables you to apply the right soft skills at the right time. And that's probably thinking about yourself in terms of value and also in terms of return on investment. And that's return on investment to yourself or to your client or your customer or your employer. Because once I got my head in a space where I realized I'm actually a liability to whoever I'm working for, until I can show them that I've got enough value that they can get a return on the investment in me, and therefore I will then become an asset. And the more return I give them, the greater asset I am, and the more I can command more from them or future employers. And so thinking about that has helped me to think about, okay, what can I do to create more value for myself and for others so that I can be seen as valuable and a higher return on investment? It feels quite impersonal to think that way, but let's be honest, employers don't employ people just to be nice. They employ people because they want value creation. And then the other thing I think about is, whilst I do that, it's always important to think about yourself in terms of the value you create has to be valuable to you as well, so that you can take that and create it elsewhere, just like Emma's doing, and she's creating value for herself on her terms, which is amazing. And that wouldn't have been possible had she not created value for others first, right? Sidra has a similar story and background. And I think that's that's probably a precursor to the soft skills. It enables you to think about where to apply them, when, why, and how.
Absolutely brilliant. And that nicely transitioned into this final question, again, open to everyone. Just advice. So for someone starting their career today, what advice would you give them to stay competitive in the ever evolving industry? And since we're already on Cliff, you've already said some really impactful things, but is there anything else you wanted to add?
There is something I would say, which is we have to accept that whoever works the hardest will get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a shortcut. So this time that we're spending here is the best part of one of the best parts of my day. But I suspect that for everyone else on this call and everyone listening in, we have so many days where we're sat down in front of a screen, working solidly, working late, etc., etc. Those days are not a waste of your time. They're an investment in your time. And so make the most of them. And you've got to, I guess we all have to show that we can outwork, I think so anyway, outwork our colleagues, competitors, etc. And some of us might be even so good at it that it doesn't matter, that we don't need to work any harder. Great, fantastic. I feel jealous, right? But some of us have to work a little bit harder, or at least have more time to focus, so that we can apply our time in the right way. That gives us the outcomes that we want. So that's probably the advice I'd give. And definitely, if I was going to ask myself a few years ago, what would I do differently? I know you didn't ask me that, so I'm asking the question to myself. It really would be to just experiment more. Experiment, see what you're good at, see what you like, see what you don't like. It's okay to go into a position that you're not happy with. Life is short. Somebody said, I read something along the lines of, I'm probably going to mess it up now, around people think I'm lucky, not me, but people think successful people are lucky. But the reality is they failed more times than we've tried. Now, that might be cheesy, you may have heard it before, but that's the reality. And so luck just doesn't happen. You've got to fail more time than people even try, and then it'll happen.
Amazing. Honestly, really powerful words at the end there. And that's so true. All these people that we see in power right now, or doing the jobs that we aspire to be, they have failed more times than we have tried. Absolutely love that. Same question to you, Sidra, and also Emma, as you after Sidra is done. I'm just going to turn off my camera for a second because I have a knocking at my door, but please do continue, okay?
Will do. Thank you, Hannah. So I think, yeah, really fantastic points mentioned by Cliff. I think I have a slightly different perspective on it, because I don't think I'm the smartest, most intelligent person, and I don't think I ever will be, but I'm absolutely fine with that. And I think for me, what I think will make individuals successful, what will make me successful, is actually again, it goes back to, what are your strengths? What is your unique makeup that makes you fantastic at X, Y, and Z? And find that, because when you find that passion, you'll be amazed. I was not the kind of person who wanted to work weekends and to work overtime or do long hours, right? I'm a big work-life balance believer, but I have been the most ambitious and probably invested the most into myself and my career after having a child. And that's because I found my passion. I found the thing that makes me tick, the thing that brings my values and my principles together with the work that I'm doing. And I think that is incredibly powerful, because then I understand how I need to work smarter and not harder. And then I'm willing to go that extra mile. And actually, that is what helps you to figure out what value you bring. I think it's touching upon what Emma and Cliff have mentioned previously as well. But that's when things start to really fall into place, when they fit together, and you realize that's where your confidence comes from. That's where you realize how much value you have. So I think, yeah, find out what your unique skill set is, what makes you confident, what is the value that you bring, and what are you passionate about? What do your morals and principles align with? And then chase that.
I'm sure if there's any Niyo alum on here, they would have heard me say, what is a USP? Find your USP. And I've tried to rein that in on everyone. Okay, is about that USP 100%. And Emma, you finally over to you for the final comments of tonight.
And
So
it's
what would be your advice?
That MVP, you have a USP, but you also have what's the minimum viable product you can put out. So in December, the end of December, with my tech business, I hit a point where I thought, I can't do this. I just can't do this. It's breaking. I can't do this. And then that human effect, 3 other mothers at my son's school just randomly called me one day, and we were all hair messy and in our beds. I couldn't believe there were other people in exactly the same position as me. And I ignored the first call and picked up the second call. And I said, I'm procrastinating, guys. One girl said she wants to stop smoking. That's it. And another girl says, I just want to pass my driving test. I said, let's get into a WhatsApp group and hold each other accountable, because I'm not a procrastinator. I don't know this about myself. Since January to today, I needed to give myself that 10 minutes. At least don't go to bed without achieving a part of your dream, and give yourself 10 minutes. And that's when I went, phew. So procrastination really is just the action that you need to take. But what you guys want to know is, well, how do I get into, or how do I find that passion? Me not procrastinating on my ultimate dream job to run a tech billion-dollar company was procrastinating, but that 10 minutes got me going. So I will not stop. There is this AI decision making. So in 2028, it's expected that 15% of our day-to-day work and decisions will be autonomously made by AI. So there is AI-driven decision making that you can get into. There's polyfunctional robotics. The expect when you go to a restaurant, that robots are going to roll up to you, say, what's your order? Is this going to happen? How do you be, versatile enough to say, I'm interested in robots, I'm interested in STEM. I never thought I was interested in IT, but I like the thought of robots. How do I get into that? There's spatial computing, and there'll always be governance, ethics, and cybersecurity is what a partner at KPMG sat down with me one day, and he said, Emma, cyber is recession proof. So if you're looking for something recession proof, look at cybersecurity, especially when it gets into what I'm excited about, quantum, because that's going to be it's going to be decrypting and encrypting all at the same time. That's why people don't want it. But in China right now, they've got villages of young people looking into quantum, whereas politically people are trying to fight China, but they're onto something. How do you be at the forefront of sustainable technology and innovations coming up? So you guys have got to look at what I've just said. These are job roles of the future. What's going to excite you the most to be a part of based on your imagination right now? And trust me, if you can figure that out and where that belongs in tech, you will never stop. This is the most intriguing stuff I have ever tapped into in my life. And I wake up every day with my little redundancy check dwindling in the background, thinking, but at least I have time to experiment in tech. And come on, ChatGPT, you're my best friend today. And that's just where it's at, guys.
I love it. Fantastic. Do not go to bed, guys. Do not go to bed tonight without completing 10 minutes of your dream. Okay? That's a key message that we're going to take from everything here tonight. Okay? And this 2 hours that you spent here with us, that's 10 minutes of your dream as well. Okay? Because you're gaining knowledge, you're exposing yourself to different ideas, different people that you wouldn't have met normally. So this is achieving 10% of that dream. Okay? Absolutely brilliant. I really want this to go on. I want this to go on and on and on, and just keep questioning, because it's through questioning that we gain insight. But I also want to give the audience a chance to question you guys as well. So we do have some questions. We do have some questions here. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to bring Nicole back up here with us. Oh, I think I can only pin 3 people. Sorry, Nicole, but yes, thank you. Turn it on your camera so we can see you. I don't think I can pin more than 3. Let me see if I move. Oh, pin. No, I can't pin more than 3. Sorry, Nicole. We are going to go to the Q&A section and we are going to see what there is. So this first question is actually for yourself, Nicole. And it was from, I want to say it was from Buka, but she couldn't figure out how to put it in the Q&A. So I popped it in there for her. She wanted to know, how do you rebuild confidence when it has been lost due to negative feedback that's dampened your confidence?
Thanks for that question. I think losing confidence after getting negative feedback is something that's very natural. But I think what's really important is to separate critique from your identity. So a few things I recommend is revisit your wins. That's been mentioned by some of the panelists as well. Like, really focus on what you have achieved, what you are strong in, moments that you felt really proud of yourself. And yeah, when doubt creeps in, you can go back to this as evidence of your abilities, and remember that, you know, the mistakes that you might have made or the criticism that you received isn't who you are. I'd also recommend reframing the feedback. Sometimes negative feedback can feel like this is true, like they said it, so it must be true. But always ask yourself, is this feedback constructive or is it just discouraging? Like, really question the source of where this is coming from. Unfortunately, not everyone has your best interests at heart. So something that might sound like feedback might actually be someone's attempt to tear you down. So if it was something that was discouraging rather than challenging and thought-provoking, potentially put that to one side and remind yourself that other people's opinions actually don't define who you are and what you're capable of. I think another thing that I would say is criticism is something that everyone's going to face at some point. So surround yourself with people who are going to be there to uplift you when those low moments do happen. I think it's really important to have external voices that remind us of who we are, our value, our worth, and what's ahead of us as well.
Sorry to unmute myself. Brilliant. Absolutely amazing advice there. You definitely need to revisit those wins, revisit those positive feedback that you've had. Because a lot of the time we do tend to really hone in on the negativity and really just focus on it, when actually one negative comment, we have like 9 other positive things that have been said about us. I think it was Tina Turner. She said that when someone says something negative to her, she then says 9 positive things about herself. So that's how I live my life now. So I would also recommend that as well. So we have another question here. I'm not sure. I feel like this might have been answered during the panel session, but what would you say is the top 3 soft skills required to thrive in the tech space? This is from Onora.
Yeah, it was from me, but I think you actually asked this question and everyone answered, and I've been writing frantic notes, but yeah, I think it's been out.
Really?
Because I know obviously tech skills you can build, but I think it's the communication and the
presentation, networking, and
I thought the answers were amazing. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we have a question here from Bianca. She says, I believe Emma already touched on this. So to Sidra and Cliff, can you share a moment when you felt like your career truly took off and what led to that turning point? So I don't know if...
Hi, may I also ask that Nicole answer that? Just because I was focused on the Q&A panel. I will let Nicole answer too, but thank you.
Okay, so this question is for Nicole, Sidra, and Cliff. So I'm going to go over to Sidra first, if you wanted to take that. So can you share a moment when you felt like your career truly took off and what led to that turning point?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Nicole. I think for the phrase career takeoff probably means different thing for everybody, everyone in this whole call. Actually, for me, I've kind of touched on this earlier, it really meant finding what I'm passionate about. So I said at the start that when I first joined as a graduate and I learned about digital ethics, I knew that's where I wanted to be. But my background was in product because I was trying to establish myself in tech career. I had imposter syndrome. I didn't really know how I would get to this career, and you can probably tell from my accent, I'm based in Scotland, so it's very small regionally. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities, and I feel like for me it really took off. Funnily enough, and I wonder if any females can relate, is actually when I went on maternity leave. So before I found out I was pregnant, even though I was pregnant at the time, I remember talking to my other female colleagues, and I was like, you know, when is the right time to have a kid? Like, I'm really nervous. I'll be left behind. What about my peers who are progressing? Like, I'm just really nervous. And anyway, God did what was supposed to happen. And then I went off on maternity leave, and actually I had the chance and the stars aligned to think about what I wanted to do, and AI ethics as a result of Gen AI was really popping off. And that was my moment. That was my moment to start being my own champion, start being vocal with the thoughts and theory and knowledge and research that I had, and actually start showing people that I knew I was talking about, or that I was passionate about this. So finding that passion for me happened at that point, and I was incredibly lucky. And then I came back to Digital after my mat leave. I joined our internal kind of AI hub and really grew from there. So I found some fantastic peers. So like Emma said, you know, your network is your net worth. They really championed me, what I wanted to do. And yeah, things started to fall into place. And now, thankfully, it's only been about a year and a half, 2 years, but I've been doing what I love. I didn't, you know, public speaking was on my 30 before 30 bucket list, and I didn't think that I would be able to tick it off. So yeah, I think that was having my baby and stars aligning was really the turning point for me.
Amazing. Love it. Congratulations on motherhood as well. Cliff, do you want to jump in here as well?
It's interesting. I saw in the comments something about imposter syndrome, and if I'm honest, that's kind of been my story in the background. I'm not very sure why. So I grew up in Birmingham. You can probably tell, it's not a secret. I grew up in a place called Aston, and a place called Perry Barr, and so that's been where I've grown up. And not that many people, sadly, get to where they can be from there. I'm sure it's changed, right? But ultimately, it's just one of those things. And there are so many brilliant people where I grew up, but we just didn't have, I don't think, everything that we needed to believe in ourselves. Me and some of my friends, right? Capability aside, everybody's got the capability. So maybe that continued throughout work and it's always there. And I realized that early in my career, I'd been in the same place for quite a few years, and my wife, who I'm still married to now, thankfully, just essentially said, "Look, what are you doing? You can do so much more, right? You really can, and you need to just think about that and do something about it."
Mm-hmm.
And so I think sometimes it takes people close to you to really shake you up and make you realize who you actually are. And I then realized, and to be honest, it helped because we had a child at the time. I did 3 kids now. It's a younger child at the time. And I figured, actually, children are expensive, so I need to do something about this. And then I started to get more and more self-belief, applying for different jobs, updating my, communication skills, making sure that irrespective of people's background, that I was as good as anyone else, right? And therefore, you give me that job, and I'll tell you how and why I can do that job. And so that journey was, I would say, a pivotal moment, which helped me to then believe more in myself and believe I can get the jobs that I want. And so I did. And I would say, if anyone was interested in asking me that question, I would be saying, yeah, you can do it. You can go for it. Believe in yourself. Yeah.
Amazing. That is so beautiful. I love it. I love that your wife was like, you can do more. And you're like, yes, yes, that dear. Thank you. I know. I'm going to do more. I absolutely love it. And again, similar to Sidra, starting a family then sort of pushed you to push yourself more and believe in yourself more. And then you were able to achieve the things that you wanted to. So I think that is beautiful. Nicole, do you want to also chime in on this question? Can you share a moment when you felt like your career truly took off? I know that this new chapter for you in terms of consulting is relatively new, but have you felt that it's truly taken off for you at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. So I started Years Consulting back in 2020. So it's been a while, but full-time since last July. Very briefly, because my answer is so similar to Cliff's, for me, it was confidence. Once I tapped into confidence, and I got to a point where I didn't care what anyone had to say, like imposter syndrome, who like just fully just full conviction in who I am, my value, my worth, as was touched on by Sidra, just like my uniqueness, the skill sets that I have. That's when everything changed. So 2019, I was in my first product role and I was thrown into the deep end. My manager just disappeared, got offered a better job somewhere else. And I was left to like lead this massive high stakes project that everyone in the company was focused on. It was linked to the big objectives for the like next 3 years. It was super high stakes. And I had a coach at the time and we just worked together to be like, hey, this is your moment. Like take this with both hands and make sure that you like deliver what you are capable of. And it was scary. It was tough. It was super stressful. I definitely got into some very bad, unhealthy like work, I guess, habits during that time, which I've now worked through, thankfully. But I think things really changed like from that project and from that experience. I really figured out, okay, I am capable of more than I realized I am. And now, like, no matter what the task is in front of me, whether it's starting my own business, public speaking, like whatever it is, I'm like, I can do this. If I could get through that, I can get through anything pretty much. So yeah, I think that was it for me.
Amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. For me, I always think if Boris can be president, I'm prime minister, there's nothing that's going to stop me. You know, Trump can have a second term. I can do anything I want as well. So that's my motivation. If they can do it, I can do it too. Okay. That's the question. That's all the questions that were in the Q&A. I don't know if anybody has any more questions before we just wrap it up for the evening. If you do have a question, you can raise your hands and come off mute and say it out loud, or you can just type it in the chat and I can read it out now. Does anyone have any more questions? Let's start tonight with building our confidence.
Can I use that moment to just tell everybody in this room, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Can everybody that's on screen, because I've seen Oprah do this one day, and everybody who's not on screen, just do this with me because you deserve it. Put one arm around like this and give yourself a hug and squeeze. And sometimes that's just the hug that nobody else is going to give you, that you need to give yourself. But Cliff, I just want to say this one thing, right? Because behind every strong man, yeah, there's a stronger woman. But not just that. If it wasn't for Niyo and Oyin egging me on every moment, egging me on and telling me, yes, you can do it. Like you have that cheerleader at the sideline, like go, and you're like go, and you're like go, you're like go, just remember, everybody deserves it. And that's why I'm so, if you haven't been told, I am so, Mama Emma is so proud of you, and you.
I love it. Thank you, Emma. Thank you for sharing the joy and the love. And thank you. I did the hug thing. So I hope everybody else did that hug thing as well. We did. I think, did I see a question in here? Oh, yes. Fahima has her hands raised. If you want to come off mute.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to ask about isolation. I feel like I do struggle with it a lot. I isolate myself a lot. So how can I really break my shells?
Does anybody want to volunteer to take that question?
I'm happy to. I saw this
Okay.
question in the chat earlier. I think it is definitely a process. I think the first thing to say is be proud of yourself. You raised your hand, took yourself off mute, and you asked a question. I think that can be part of the journey that you're on. I think start with low stakes socializing. It doesn't necessarily have to be like going to a massive party or networking event. Like you can just reach out to a colleague and be like, oh, do you want to get coffee or a virtual like catch up one day? Find really safe, supportive spaces as well. So find people in your community who have similar backgrounds to you as a starting point. Maybe like a faith-based community if that's something that you have as well. Shared interests can always make things easier. Again, low stakes, like small moments of connection. I think you have to really build up your confidence to jump into like big social gatherings. So maybe just in a group setting, be like, you know, I'm going to initiate a conversation with maybe just one person. And then I think another thing that comes to mind is sometimes structure can be really helpful. So rather than just being like free falling in like spontaneous conversation, which can be quite overwhelming, maybe join a course or like a mentorship program or some kind of group where there's like interaction and socializing built in, and that can help things as well. And then very, very quickly, I would just say maybe challenge the narrative as well. So reframe that message that you're telling yourself that, you know, oh, you know, I'm isolated. Maybe start saying things like, I'm learning to connect with people in ways that feel easier for me. Or tell yourself that, you know, I'm on a journey to become more social, but I'm going to give myself grace along the way. So yeah, it's a process. You don't have to go from being isolated to being like an extreme extrovert overnight. Start where you are, start with small steps. Maybe tell a friend that it's something that you want to work on this year, and they can keep you accountable as well.
Amazing. Thank you. That is such beautiful advice. And I'll definitely echo it in terms of taking small steps towards, you know, opening up your community and opening up yourself. Find that safe space and invite people one at a time into that safe space and just be yourself. And, you know, like Nicole said, it's not just about jumping into big engagements and things like that. It's about building meaningful connections, and being part of tonight is a step that you took to decrease that isolation. You can connect with people and 100% be proud of coming off mute and saying your question out loud and being vulnerable with us today. We really appreciate you sharing that part of you. We are here, Niyo's community. Join us on, I think the bottom one is Instagram or our WhatsApp community, and be part of our family, be part of the Niyo community, and, you know, attend more events like this and put yourself out more. And then maybe one day you can be Emma and you can be on a panel, and, you know, the baby steps, you know, set those goals that you want to achieve and baby step your way through them. Okay, but that is it for the Q&A session for tonight. I want to thank absolutely everyone, from attendees to participants, to speakers, to just, it's been absolutely brilliant. Just before we close off for the night, I just want to do a quick intro. Oh, someone has their hand. Oh, someone has a comment. Okay, one second. Just have a quick, where's the presentation? Right here. Let me go back to my presentation. Full screen. I'm just going to do a short intro. A short intro into Niyo Labs. So, what is Niyo Labs? Niyo Labs is a transformative digital learning platform designed to equip individuals from underrepresented communities in the UK with the essential skills needed to thrive in the digital economy. As part of Niyo Group, our mission is to bridge the opportunity gap, unlock potentials, and foster economical empowerment through cutting edge education and career acceleration. I'm sorry, I'm getting notifications. I'm trying to read this. So in essence, because we don't have much time, Niyo Labs is a new era of learning. So as I mentioned before, Niyo, we deliver boot camps, but what we found is that people need other ways of learning as well, because not everyone can commit to attending boot camps. So that's where Niyo Labs has been birthed. And as we're talking about upskilling for the future, this is one way of doing that. And with Niyo Labs, it's not just about doing courses on your own. You can also learn with friends. It's about community building, and it's about getting those key skills that you need to thrive in your current or future career. With Niyo Labs, you can earn points, you can earn badges, and that will be redeemable for different things within the platform. So with Niyo Labs, we're currently offering a 30-day free trial. So all you have to do is go to Niyo Labs and sign up, and you will have full access to all the available courses. We have newly launched it. We launched it back in October. So we still are on a journey of discovery and in updating ourselves, not updating, but enhancing the platform as well. So we welcome feedback. Well, we look forward to feedback, and we want people to experience it. So this is why we offer a 30-day free trial. Please do explore the platform, see what you like. We have courses from technical software development, data analysis, project management, to soft skill building in terms of communication and employability skills as well. So that's all I wanted to do, touch point on Niyo Labs, and then quickly run through some of the exclusive perks for you guys tonight for attending. So we've talked a lot about confidence. Unintentionally is linked to some of the perks of joining tonight. So we've talked a lot about confidence this evening. So if you sign up to Niyo Labs before the end of February and complete at least one course, you'll be able to claim a free copy of Confidence and Killing It. Okay, I can't remember the name of the author, but she is a young Black entrepreneur, writer, and public speaker. And she has written a book called Confident and Killing It. I have a digital and a hard copy because I'm extra. I like listening to audiobooks. In addition to the Confident and Killing It book, if you post your biggest takeaway from this event on social media before the end of next week, you can also claim a Niyo t-shirt. Sorry, use the hashtag futureproof with Niyo and tag us on Instagram and LinkedIn for your chance to get a hold of one of our Niyo t-shirts. And then finally, if you complete our post-event survey, you can also claim a free CV review and rewrite. Okay, and the deadline for that is Thursday, the 13th of Feb, which is the day before Valentine's Day, so Valentine's Eve. All this information will be shared to you in an email, so it's absolutely fine. You don't have to remember it right now. But I want to thank everyone for joining. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had an amazing evening. I've learned so much. So much has been poured into me that I'm going to work on, especially from Nicole's session this evening. So much inspiration, knowledge, and sort of pathways has been shared throughout the evening in the panel discussion. It's really eye-opening to see how people have journeyed to where they are now and be inspired by them, and be inspired by that journey, be inspired by what they're making of themselves. And I did not know that a job called AI ethics consultant was a thing. You know, there's so many jobs that we don't even have titles for yet, especially with the evolving world of tech, there's so many jobs that don't have titles yet. Okay. And a lot of jobs that are currently in the market that we definitely didn't have 5 or 10 years ago. So there's so much opportunity within tech. And that's what really excites me about it. If you want to stay connected with anyone who has been part of the panel or keynote tonight, you will get an email tomorrow with all ways that you can connect with them. Okay, and I really do encourage you to connect with them because they are here today with us in their own time, in their free time, sharing and pouring into you and inviting you in to their sort of inner circle. Okay, so they definitely do want to connect with you. So please do connect, and don't just connect and go silent. Connect and introduce yourself and tell them where you met them. Okay, let's build those human touch points. Okay, I think that is really evident throughout the evening, that it's still really important that we stay connected to each other on a human level. Okay, and not just through technology. That is it for me tonight, guys. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for your patience. And I look forward to seeing you at following Niyo events. I look forward to you being part of her community. Please do give me feedback on how this event went and let me know what else you want to see from us, because honestly, I love putting these things on. I love connecting people to other people. And I love the human feel. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Sidra. Thank you, Amma. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you so much to the Niyo team behind the scenes, pushing this through. Thank you guys so much. Do scan the QR code here to complete our post-event survey. And like I said, watch out for an email from us tomorrow with ways of connecting with everyone who took part in this evening. Okay. If you have any questions, you can email me. You can email me personally at hannah@niyo.co. That's Hannah, HANNAH @niyo.co with any direct questions that you have for from this evening. Okay. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much. The recording of this will not be available tomorrow, but it will be available in a follow-up email after tomorrow. Okay. Have a great evening. Thank you again. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.